Hello, everybody. We are live. I am going to have several people join me today. I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit about their stories because each one of the people that you're going to meet today has kind of a unique perspective on what they have done to get their health in order. And so many people are struggling with their health for one reason or another. Maybe you just feel like you don't have enough energy. Maybe you feel like your mood isn't where you'd like it to be. Maybe your hormones feel out of whack. You could be perimenopausal or menopausal, or maybe you're a man who has low testosterone and you just notice that you're not where you want to be. You can't gain muscle. You're trying everything you know to get the energy you want and you just don't have it. It could be that you're struggling with things like psoriasis, eczema, acne, skin tags or skin pigmentation issues. Maybe you have irritable bowel syndrome, or you've noticed that your anxiety has been really bad, or your depression's creeping in. These are all different things that link back to the same root problem. They show up different for each of us, but they all have to do with our metabolic issues. And so when you think about, blood pressure and cholesterol and obesity or excess weight gain, stubborn weight, we don't usually think about those as separate things. We think about them as separate things. We don't think about them as all being connected, but they are all connected. And so we're going to talk a little bit about two simple things that you can start doing today to help improve your overall health. Okay, so all the people that I bring on today, these are real people with real stories. And I just want to be able to share those stories with you and want you to know that they are there. You can reach out to them. They can help you. They can give you insight. But what they have done is very simple. So you're not going to leave this live feeling overwhelmed with a laundry list of healthy tips. We're going to keep it simple for you. And what we're going to talk about, you can implement with or without the nutraceuticals, the high class supplements that we teach about. You don't even have to use those and you'll learn something from today's live. So I see a couple of my guests are here. The person that said they needed to go first, I don't see. So I'm going to just start with Kathy because I see that you sent a request. I'm going to approve that. Hopefully you can join me here, Kathy. Hello.
Hi hi there. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for joining this
Thank
morning.
thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk to you because I kind of wanted you to give everybody like a little bit of background on where you were prior to finding this system. Give the people a little bit of background on, your degree, like what it is that you are focused on in your career, and maybe share a little bit about your family situation. I think that would be helpful for everybody to kind of hear
Yeah.
about, and then we can go into what you're doing now. But yeah, tell us where you were before you started this whole thing.
Well, I actually last year didn't talk about it much in social media land. I actually injured my arm really badly. I fell and I broke my humerus. The top of my humerus had two pieces that it wasn't supposed to have. And then I also damaged the tendons of my rotator cuff. Four of the six tendons were injured in a fall, just in my backyard. And I was dealing with it like everybody does. You get a sling, you go to your orthopedic, you take care of it, and then he wanted to send me to physical therapy, but physical therapy was going to be so expensive. It was going to cost me over $600 a month. $600 a month to go to
Wow.
physical therapy. And he kind of gave me a big scare. He said that I wouldn't get back function unless I got it back within the first 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was almost 6 months from the time of my fall when I found this opportunity to use the system that we're both using that helps with the fasting. And I had researched intermittent fasting. My friend Tanya had told me about it, and just the autophagy benefits is what I was looking for. I wanted to get rid of the damaged cells. I wanted that to recycle out of my body. I wanted autophagy to make its magic because I knew that's where I needed it most. And I was still having a lot of inflammation, a lot of pain. I was going to a gym, a wonderful local gym that has great trainers to help me, but I still couldn't get my arm up. I could only lift my arm. I couldn't do things like zip up or button my clothes or even brush my hair. I was still trying to do things with my hair with my non-dominant arm. It was a mess. I couldn't even, I didn't have enough strength to keep up with brushing my teeth. I couldn't lift my arm for deodorant. It was terrible. But so I found this system and I found the support that I could do for the fasting. And I wanted to have some data. Like I knew it could work if this really started getting up there because now I can, really lift my arm. But
Good.
I tested my blood, because that's kind of the objective data. I'm a midwife. You asked me what I do. I'm a midwife. I work with women um, day in, day out and prepare them for birth. I work in homes. I'm a home birth midwife. And so we're doing this all natural, using all natural solutions for common complaints in pregnancy. And I I really wanted to know if this was truly working at a cellular level. I thought, okay, I'll get some labs. And labs showed up, and I was already pre diabetic and I didn't know it.
Mm.
And my grandmother was a diabetic. She actually passed away because of complications due to insulin response back in 1977. My parents were both diabetics. My husband's a diabetic. And so I knew what that entailed. And I did not want to be pre diabetic. I did not. So, yeah, that's where we were at. And I'm really grateful for the things that have been changing. I didn't anticipate getting so excited. I've been very much a person that um, advocates for body positivity. And I never looked at myself as being anything less because of my size or my weight. I tell my clients, the number on the scale is your relationship with gravity, not with yourself. So I just did not equate that as to success, but the data has come through. I have lost 42.7 pounds. Yeah,
Wow.
with and I know my blood sugars are better because I wore a glucose monitor for a couple weeks. My husband has also now started the system and has had incredible success. It's just mind blowing. He asked his doctor about, this is, I want you to take a look because he has a connected continuous glucose monitor so that his doctor can actually see the results on an app in his office. He says, keep at it, keep doing what you're doing. He only gave him a metric of 70% of his 24-hour day to be in range. And he's been hitting it at a minimum of 95% and sometimes getting 100% of sugar ranges. It's been incredible. It
Okay,
really has.
so I have to interrupt you here for a second because there's so many things here. So let me just break this down and make sure I understand correctly. So you decided you've really found this because you were interested in the healing power of intermittent fasting. You
Right,
knew that there was good research on a cellular level. Goodness, that's a tongue twister.
right.
Cellular level that there could be healing
Hmm.
for it's something like a shoulder
Right.
injury. And I've heard this about like plantar fasciitis. I've
Hmm.
heard this about even just your immune system being boosted, that really truly fasting can help with all of those things. Even cancer,
Right.
there's a lot of research around how fasting can help. And there's a doctor, his name's Dr. Jason Fung. He just, I think his most recent book it's called The Cancer Code, and he dives into all of that.
Hmm.
So there's awesome research there. But most people, while that sounds amazing, really struggle to do it, right? And
Right.
so when you came to using the system we're going to talk about today, you were doing it to help you support the fasting, but why not look at your labs before you start, and then
Right.
here you uncover this news. And I do think that those of us that have family history or, family members who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, we
Right.
see where that road leads. And
Hmm.
for most of us, and honestly, with most doctors that you talk to, it's just kind of a slow, progressive disease.
Yeah.
And most of us are kind of looking at it as, oh, we need to just slow it down as much as we can, but
Right.
we're headed that way, right?
Right.
And there's not a whole lot we can do about it. And so I'm curious, like, did you already know or have a belief around the idea that it was reversible, or did you think it was something that you would just have to manage?
Well, actually, I mentioned my husband Dave. He has been a diabetic, diagnosed diabetic for over 10 years now. And at first, we addressed it using lifestyle changes. He made drastic changes at the very beginning of his journey of being diagnosed. And it dropped his numbers immediately. He used supplements. He used lifestyle changes like exercise. He was walking up to 10 miles on the trails here in our local area. He was doing all of that. And it's kind of just, it got harder. It got harder to live without the things he considered enjoyable. It got harder to continue to work out. We even bought a treadmill so that he could eat and then walk on the treadmill. He did this day in and day out, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
COVID scared the pants off of him because COVID was really found to be really bad for diabetics, and it impacted our not only our physical lives but his emotional
Oh,
and
yeah.
mental health well-being because it was so scary. My parents had major complications in their lives because of, I believe now, chronic inflammation, because I've seen the reversal of things for me, even things like that I've lived with for more than 20 years that I thought were just normal parts of my body makeup have changed. There's a symptom that of insulin resistance that I just thought was just because my mom had it. And it's a dowager's hump. It's where the back of the shoulder blades form more of a fat pad and more of a hump. My mother had so many different tests done to find out why she was doing why this was, and I've had it for years and I've seen it for years and wondered what it was. I thought I needed to sit up straight and, do some changes, but it's actually a symptom of insulin resistance that I didn't know about. So, yeah, I thought we would just have to manage it. I had tried intermittent fasting before, specifically for improving my health, and I this was in 2023. I had a vision of where I wanted to be the following year. Our daughter got married last August. I wanted to be ready to go on my dream of completing the Camino de Santiago in Spain, and I was just I I had dreams, and I it was so hard. Fasting for me was so hard the first time I tried it, and it's not now. It's just not.
Yeah, so I thanks so much for sharing that. And I think the this whole thing where it's like the things you should do, but getting yourself to do them long term, not
Hmm.
just short term, because most of us can do things short term.
Right.
It's the willpower and the grit and
Right.
the we set our minds to it, but
Right.
then this is something that I have now. I mean, for me, it's been over 2 years. And
Right.
I'm just like, it's simple. Like, I can take this to a wedding with me. I can take it to a birthday party, like situations where you don't have control over the food or something, right?
Right.
I don't have to worry that I'm not going to enjoy the things that I love or that I'm going to be living with this underlying feeling of like that I'm being deprived or something,
Right.
it's just, it takes that away, and it makes you feel empowered in every way. And so, yeah, maybe you could just share and with everybody. So like, since you started, you told us about the weight, which I love how you started with the fact that that was not why you started this.
Mm-mm.
And that was not even one of your main focuses. And it's not about the weight. It
Mm-mm.
genuinely isn't.
Mm-mm.
Um, but what are some of the things you've seen shift number wise? And maybe you could share what's happened for your husband. I mean, you saying that he went from his doctor, wanting to give him a pat on the back if he stayed in his range 70% of the time. And now, I mean, he just went from a C to an
A
A or an A plus, right?
plus. Right,
Yes.
right, right.
Right. And it's like his doctor's probably just like, what?
Hmm.
So has anything shifted for him medication wise? I don't know if he was on medication. Like, where's he at with all of that, and where are you at numbers wise?
Okay, so I'll start with him. His numbers before he started this protocol, he was on two prescription medications for diabetes. He is not the picture of someone you would imagine that has diabetes. He's
Yeah.
thin. He does, like I said, he had been able to walk up to 10 miles, but his health was declining. We were seeing evidence that he needed different support. We thought it was having to do with some other issues, but when we got his lab test, they do a lab test for him every 6 months. He has a checkup with his primary care physician every 6 months at the VA, and his numbers came back on two prescription medications completely out of control. Completely out of control. If you know anything about diabetes, it's supposed to be 7 or under to be under control, controlled diabetes. Controlled diabetes is 7, between like 6.4 and 7. His was 9.4 on two prescription medications, including the injectable that everybody thinks of as for weight loss. It wasn't helping his diabetes. He was one of the ones that was fighting to get it when it was um, there was a low supply. When
Yeah.
everybody started using it for weight loss, he needed it for diabetes, or so we thought, and they were like rationing it out to get it to him. But it was completely out of control. And since starting the protocol from day one, first thing we did, we put a continuous glucose monitor on his arm so that we could measure. We wanted to give the doctor some reassurance that we were going to make sure it didn't drop too low, because that was a concern. If we used anything that would drop his blood sugar, that it would go too low. And we started watching his diet by what he was eating and how he was doing, and seeing how the protocol was working. It worked immediately. Immediately. Because when you have a A1C number, that's that 9.4 I told you that he had. When you have 9.4, it means that your average is about 250 milligrams per deciliter of your blood is sugar. That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
That's the daily average he was living with day in and day out. And now his average is around 130, 120 to 130. And it's been amazing, but it came down instantaneously. It made a change.
Wow.
And now he's implementing both parts of the protocol. At first he had a little bit of difficulty with the fiber part, but it's been incredible. It's really been incredible. He's done intermittent fasting, which before, talk about hangry, he never went without food. He always had snacks available. He was like that little kid that has that funny face on those mean snacks. He had to have snacks. And even now, if I tell him you have to have a snack, he's like, well, better not be a carrot. Or,
Yeah.
he just doesn't like healthy snacks. He wants his snacks. But he's been able to stop snacking. He's doing so well on it.
Wow. Well, that's just so awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, and then thanks for starting with him. Is there anything you would add to yours? I know you kind of already gave us some of your results, but any other? Because I mean, you've got your shoulder working for you. You've
Yeah.
noticed this going down, which
Yeah, it's going
again,
down.
most
Yeah.
people are saying, genetic. And then have you gotten any new labs for you?
I have not. I wore the continuous glucose monitor for a couple of months, or a couple of weeks, to see what my average. So a daily average at 5.7 was where I was at, is about 150-ish. but
Yeah.
my average came down to where it was like 110,
Oh,
100. And
yeah.
so I knew that it had come down.
It's moving in
His
the right
his
direction.
A1C last time we tested it was only 6.2,
Oh, wow.
which is not even considered diabetic anymore. It's considered pre-diabetes.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the doctor does as he continues to come down with lowering his medication.
He's already stopped.
Oh,
Within 3 months, he was off of his diabetes medication and stopped his cholesterol medication too. He's off of 3 prescription drugs. He's
oh,
stopped, and it's still under control. He is not using prescription medication anymore. He is only using the protocol now.
wow. Okay.
Right?
That's insane because I mean, I hear about people easing off of it, but for him to come off that quickly is so incredible. And you just think about all the side effects that you're skipping. You're
Mm-hmm.
just skipping.
Yep.
And so, I appreciate that you mentioned that for him, there's two parts to this system, and one of them is a fiber matrix that you
Right.
drink before your heaviest meal. And for some people, it takes a little adjusting to.
Right.
So if the worst thing that happens for him is a little gas and bloating or diarrhea, as he adjusts to that
Right.
over a month or so, I mean, I'll take those side effects all day,
Yeah.
knowing that that's it, right? Like he's going to adjust. And now
Right.
my husband, it took him a couple months, but now my husband can drink 2, even 3, like depending on how many meals we have that day. And it just is insane to
Right.
see like the way as the gut health improves, the inflammation comes down.
Right.
It's like a domino effect of all the things that benefit. So thanks so much for going into all the details and sharing both stories. Just final words with you, if you wouldn't mind just telling us, if somebody's skeptical about this and they're on the fence, what would you say?
It's such an easy thing to do. And it really, I mean, you can change your life permanently by making this yourself a research subject for your own health, right? We look at things. I'm currently working on some certification that I'm going to add some services as a midwife. I'm uniquely qualified to work with women. I'm licensed in the state of California to do so. And I I just think that it's so important. PCOS, which women usually don't end up coming to a midwife for because they think of midwives as only being for pregnancy, but PCOS is the number one reason why women have fertility problems.
Um,
Erectile dysfunction comes from insulin resistance.
yeah.
And now I know what I can help women with. And so that's why I'm adding these new services.
Wow.
I'll be adding coaching services and individual appointments to address these things with women and look at their labs and help them find new ways through this. It really, give it some time. Just give it 90 days. And the fact that there was a money back guarantee, like there
Yeah.
was a guarantee that if it hadn't worked, in fact, I I can be a little bit honest. I got the labs because I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to prove if it doesn't do anything, right? There's
Yeah.
got to be some subjective data here,
Yeah.
or objective data
Yeah.
that I
Numbers don't
that I
lie.
can say,
Yeah.
right, right. The labs won't lie.
Yeah.
So, but I'm so grateful I did because I really, honestly, for my own health. But now, since what I've learned in the last 5 months since that lab date and implementing this in our family, I just know that nothing tastes as good as
Yeah.
healthy feels, they
Yeah.
say. And I haven't really had to avoid anything. I had my favorite chocolate cake on my birthday,
Yeah. Yes.
and I'm not going to deny myself completely. I still enjoy chocolate. My family will know I'm a chocoholic, and but I
Yeah.
do choose really good ones, and I
Yeah.
like to be part of using a system that has made such a huge impact on not only my life but all the people that I'm learning about now that I never knew about before.
Thank you so much for coming on. Gestational diabetes, or all the different things that come along with pregnancy and pre-pregnancy and post. You're gonna just help so many people. So thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank
And
you.
I'm gonna add Sandra. I don't know. You weren't here in the beginning, but I'm gonna try to bring you in now. Hopefully you can come on in and I'll let you go. Thanks so much for being here. There we go. Okay. And I think you can, Kathy, you can leave. I
Okay.
believe you can, but
Yeah.
I'm
That way I'll get.
trying. Okay, there we go.
Hi,
Hi. I know you
good
only have
morning.
a few minutes
It's
before work. I
okay.
apologize,
I moved
but
my
it's
meeting
so
to 9:30.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. I'm so glad that we get to have you on here because, we just talked to Kathy and we hear this story from her. She's had about 5 months of experience with her and her
hmm
husband and family members, right? You're on the other end of the spectrum. You're brand new.
hmm
You're coming into this with hope and curiosity. And so I was just hoping that you would be willing to share a little bit about where you're at and like what you've noticed so far and what it is that you're hoping to achieve with this.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So, I'm a late night scroller on TikTok, and I found Mara Lee, and she listed a bunch of symptoms. I mean, I've been trying to lose the weight on my own unsuccessfully, and I really have a goal to look hot in my bikini by the summer.
Yes.
And so I kind of jotted down the symptoms that, first of all, I'm 57, I'm menopausal. I have gained 50 pounds in the last year, which is just disgusting and shocking to me. I mean, I can't even believe it, because I used to be like 110 pounds. I worked out at the gym. So basically, after menopause, um, the stuff I was eating just piled on the pounds. And then I developed sleep apnea, and I have numbness and tingling in the hands. High cholesterol is my Italian heritage. I always had that, but my last blood sugar numbers came back very high on the
Mhm.
cholesterol, and then it's been pre-diabetic for a while, but the doctor retested the number and it was 6.5 twice. I didn't realize that it's the last 3 months of eating. So I had my birthday in November, had Christmas, and I would have waited, but no, it was a wake up call when I got the numbers, and there's no way I'm going to go on diabetic medication. So they gave me one of those machines. The whole thing was just scary to me. And then I have to prick my finger, and I don't like injecting myself. I just don't. I mean, I've avoided doing that because I don't want to do it. Do you believe that the nurse at Kaiser, the RN, she was training me how to use this glucose machine or whatever, you test yourself. And she goes, I have it too. I said, what do you mean? She goes, I'm diabetic too. And I couldn't believe it. An RN at Kaiser. I went through a 2 hour class online, Kaiser, of similar people like me that have the A1C. Mine is reversible though, because I don't like sodas. And so then when I saw Mara Lee and all those symptoms, she's a professor and I work at a university. So she had instant kind of like a believability, um, you know, a female that kind of in my age range. So I kind of trusted her. She didn't look like a scam artist because I've been scammed before, and I'm a skeptic. All right.
Yeah.
And so all these things with the cholesterol and the blood sugar and not wanting to go on medication, and it scared me. So I went ahead and gave it a try. I've only been on it a week and a half, so I'm going to stick with it. I believe it's something I'll stay on for life. I lost 5 pounds
Oh,
already. I think I'm losing inches, and then I have my significant other on it as well, and he's noticing symptoms too. It's kind of fun. So I mean, I put these at work like in a little thing, so I have them already. I have them in my backpack. I have like a backup because I became like a distributor of this, so I have 10 cases at home. But whether I just use it myself or sell it, I don't care. Um, it's for my health,
well,
and it's
Sandra, I
convenient.
kind of feel like, I mean, yes, you will end up using it yourself, especially
Mhm.
if you and your significant other are using it, but you got those at a bit of a discount. So
Yeah.
if there are people that are, that are listening from your page or know
hmm
you,
hmm
reach out to Sandra and she'll get you one of these kits at a discount
Yes.
and you can try it with her.
Yes.
And then, of course, if you decide to keep using it, we both order it just direct from the
hmm
manufacturer. And there's they ship it straight to your house, and there's a 90-day money back guarantee. And there's a 90-day money back guarantee whether you buy one of Sandra's kits that she has on hand or whether you go through the link. So Those are, well, let's see, you probably already used 2, so you have 8 left. We shouldn't say you have 10 left, right? You have 8 left. Is that right?
Yes, I
Okay.
have 8 left.
So she has 8 left. So if you want to be one of the 8 people that uses one of these discounted systems, you should do that. But when you get the system, you get a 90, well, excuse me, you get a 30-day supply with one month, and it comes with both products. So yeah, could you maybe just show them, and explain how exactly are you using this, Sandra? What do you
Okay.
do each day?
Okay. So I was already trying the fasting before I met
Okay.
Marilee. So I was already kind of on that 16 hours. And the way I tell myself when I eat in the morning, so like if my last meal is at 6 p.m.,
Yeah.
I just count 4 hours, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means I can eat breakfast like at 10 a.m.
Okay.
But right now I'm not even hungry.
So did you
So
wake up and start sipping the tea?
yeah, I
Is that
make
what
it
you do?
hot.
Okay.
It's the apple. I think the apple is delicious. I don't know the people
It's
that are
so
saying
good
that they
hot.
don't like it because this is the most delicious thing ever. It's like a hot apple cider. So I measure it in here up to this point. I already have it pre-measured from home because I'm in the office today actually.
Yeah.
So when I'm ready, this will probably have to be a cold drink unless I go to the microwave. And then I mix this packet in, shake, shake, shake it, sip it all morning. And then if I'm hungry, I can have another one. There's a lemon flavor also, lemon ginger, I think. But usually I'm not hungry. Then at my biggest meal, probably lunch today, I take a balance and then you only fill it up to the line right here for the balance and you put it in. It's a nice shaker bottle. And then you down that before you eat. Like last night I had Mexican food and I down that before I ate and it really curbs your appetite. Now you're gonna detox, so you're pooping it out. And I mean, I know this is TMI, but the poop are nice. Like, you know how you give your dog food and stuff, and the dog poops farmer's dog? Well, my poop are nice long locks, and it's cleaning me out. And I know it's from this because my poop did not like be like that before. I know I'm detoxifying. I did have a headache all day Saturday long. And I think it's from the detox. So I do have some coffee in the morning with a little bit of monk fruit sweetener that I do not think breaks my fast.
No.
I think this, I'll tell you the reasons why I think I can stick to this. It's structured. I like structure. I like knowing when I'm going to do something. I don't want to think about it. So even on vacation or away at a hotel, as long as I have my packets, as long as I have Kangen water, which is 9.5. So I use special water also that you can take on an airplane. So I have my Kangen water that I feed the dogs also. I mean, I wish there was something for the dogs for this too, because one of them's getting kind of overweight. But I'm hoping all these symptoms will go away. And losing the weight and the sleep apnea, I have a mouth guard now that I have to use. And it's just scary just getting older. And the
Yeah.
nurse at Kaiser kind of just told me, well, it's just age, like kind of like I have to live with it, and I don't want to live with it.
Yeah, Sandra, I think that's such a good point. So often people just, it's almost like a rite of passage. Like, yeah, you're getting older, you're going to start getting these health things. It's just part of aging. And it's like, SOS, like, no, I want to just like, it does not have to be. It is, and I know I do not think these nurses and doctors mean any harm. I genuinely think they are just trying to help us manage these things that happen as we age. But what we don't realize is they're not happening because we're just aging. They're happening because we've had years and years of the standard American diet, the processed foods, the see the water that we're swimming in essentially. What, even if we try to be healthy, it is so easy to have your metabolic health be a mess. I mean, that's why 93% of us are insulin resistant, and most people don't even know what that means. And so the fact that you found yourself here, Sandra, is not really your fault. But this is something, I like that you said it was simple and structured. Notice that she's not telling you that we told her exactly what she has to eat, and she has to weigh her food and count her macro. No, you just drink the drink
Right.
before you eat your meal, and you eat whatever your meal is going to be. Okay. And then you wait again. And instead of snacking in between meals, you drink more of the mate. and it's going to
Mm-hmm.
turn the food noise down. And so it's literally two drinks, one that you drink when you're not eating, and the other one that you drink when you are going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in that early phase of the detoxing and stuff. I think that about the 3 week mark, and Sandra, you'll have to cut back on and like tell us
Yes,
in 3 weeks.
I will.
That's when the turning point happens, and you're like, wait, I feel fantastic. Like I
I
don't remember
was
the last time I feel
I
this.
was so excited last night that I normally get a large in dresses, and on TikTok, I know I'm gonna fit into these medium. So I ordered mediums because I just know this is gonna work. I'm committed to it, and it's easy enough that I'm not gonna quit it like I've quit all the other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, it's so simple. So, okay, if you're listening and you know Sandra and you want to get one of her 8 kits, make sure you message her right away. I'm sure they're going to go quickly. Sorry if you wanted to use them, Sandra, but you're not
So
going to
I'll
get
get
to.
more.
You're
I'll
gonna
get
have
more,
to
and
order your own.
it'll
And
be fun to be on the journey with other
yeah,
people too at the
yeah, I think
beginning.
I think that that's I think that that's kind of the way to do this. And learning and doing something like this together is really where the magic's at. And so we had Kathy in the beginning. She's got all kinds of reach with her knowledge and um her as the midwife. She can help women just in general with their health. And then we got Sandra. You guys are in different locations with different people in your area, and you can both help so many people. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being willing to come on. Did you have any final words or I mean, you're a skeptic yourself.
Right,
So
right.
what would you say? I mean, I think one of the biggest things people worry about when they're ordering this is like the price. They're kind of thinking that either the price is a problem for them, or they think like it's not going to work for me. I've tried everything. What would you say to those two things?
Time is money. Do you want to be sticking yourself with a needle, going to medical appointments, getting blood tests?
Yeah,
You also save money because I'm not even using all this food that I have in the fridge because I'm not hungry for it.
yeah,
So I can cut back on my shopping. It's only $5 a
yeah,
day. This product, you're saving money, and I just wish I would have known about this sooner before I put all this weight on.
yeah. Yeah, you're not alone in that, and I just really believe that you're going to be blown away. The best is yet to come for you, Sandra. So excited for you. Thanks for
Thank
coming on.
you.
Okay, and Sarah, I see you next. I'm going to add you. All
Okay, I'll
right.
get off.
You can say on if you want, but you don't need to. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Brittany. How
Welcome.
are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on today.
You're so welcome.
I'm excited because your story is a little different than the two we've already heard today. And so I would love for you to kind of just walk everybody through where you were at. I also want to just add before Sarah starts telling you her story that Sarah is somebody that I know in my real life. She lives in the area that I live in, and I've known her for years. And I've always thought of her as a very healthy person. I see her running in our area, and she's just like a fit lady that's on the ball and with it. And I appreciated earlier when Kathy was talking about her husband, and she said, if you just looked at him, the eyeball test, you wouldn't know he was a type 2 diabetic. And looking at Sarah with the eyeball test, I wouldn't have guessed that you had any health issues. But yeah, tell us where you were, and do you by chance have one of your before and after
I do.
pictures?
I do.
Okay, good.
I'm
So you can
pulling it
show
up.
us that when we get
I'm-
to it. But
I'm really pulling it up right now. Yeah.
okay.
So yes, I have been a runner my whole life, and I've done cycling and all those things. And as I hit my late 40s, I had an early morning teaching job. So I was getting up early. Sleep deprivation can be hard. And so I wasn't making the best food decisions. And all of a sudden, my weight crept up, and then my cholesterol crept up in my 50s. And so my doctor was recommending that I go on a statin. And I've been to law school, like I do my homework and research, and I looked up side effects of statin medications, and I really realized, especially for women, statins are just not very effective for women in particular, and that the side effects did not look appealing to me. And so I really went on a search for natural solutions. And so I tried. I was really on board with intermittent fasting. I was doing all kinds of intermittent fasting, different techniques and strategies. I was doing the 5-2 for a couple of years, and I did drop some weight doing that. But my cholesterol, I was running marathons. I am going to show you my picture right now because I was running marathons and my cholesterol was going up. Okay, so this is me at the end of a marathon. I'm showing you my before and after because it happens to be together. But here is me in the purple shirt. Sorry about the glare, but can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Here I am finishing a marathon. Now, ironically, I'm holding a bag of chips, which you do earn with the marathon, okay? They hand you chips, but it's a horrible picture. But you can see I had a spare tire that attached itself around my whole midsection. It was really frustrating to run with a 25-pound, basically a weighted belt around me running, knowing that inside me lives the, kind of more agile runner, but she was gone and I could not figure out, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? But this was me. And then I found this system in December of 23, and this is me that October. So 10 months later, you guys, I was able to, my cholesterol, now again, I'm a skeptic and I like to do my homework. So I start the system and I said to Brittany, like, how can these little, you get the box and you get these little packets of fiber and you get this yerba mate and you think, how can this? 8 weeks in, I was leaping out of bed. I had so much energy. My brain fog was going away. I had so many just physical signs that I was feeling better. So I went to Quest Labs and got my blood work tested 8 weeks in. They offer you a 90-day money back guarantee, but I could not wait. So I went and did the blood work, and my cholesterol had gone from 280 to 240 in 8 weeks.
Wow.
Which I had tried everything, Brittany. As you know, I had been so frustrated. So then, and then the weight was coming off. All of a sudden, my jeans were fitting well, and I just felt so good. So at that point, I thought, wow, if I can see that kind of a result using natural products, why would I get on the pharma train? Because that was my question to my doctor. Well, how long will I be on this statin medication? And the answer is forever, right? The answer is you're not getting off. And so I thought, investing $5 a day, now this eliminates my need. I don't have my addiction to Diet Coke anymore. I don't need, to go buy like expensive bougie drinks. This is my bougie drink. And then that fiber supplement, the other victory that I didn't even really put together till more recently is I had a colonoscopy back in 2021. They found 3 polyps. So I was in that high risk category. So I went back summer of 24. I had been taking this fiber for 6 or 8 months when I went for my second colonoscopy, and it was clear and perfect. And my doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep that up. So now I'm on every 5-year. And colonoscopies are expensive out of pocket.
Wow.
Like, even though insurance covers it, you still at least $1,000 out of pocket for me. So yeah, so just that victory alone, and just the lack of stress about colon cancer, that's amazing. So anyway,
Wow,
I just have seen so many benefits.
Sarah, okay, and I'm just seeing Wanda's comment here. Wanda, I'm not sure who invited you to come and listen on this Zoom or whatever we're on, Facebook Live, but get with them. They can get you a discount to get you $75 off this product so that you'll pay the $5 a day. Okay, so you definitely want to get with them. If you don't know, if nobody invited you on this and you just stumbled upon it, please reach out to me on Messenger, and I will get you with one of the people on this call, and we'll make sure we take really good care of you and that you get the product at the price you want to pay for it. So please, whatever you do, anybody listening, do not just go and Google this. You can go direct to the manufacturer's website. I mean, we buy it through the manufacturer too, but you will pay $75 more, and you won't get taken care of the way we take care of all our people. Okay. So we'll go into that in just a minute. Maybe I'll have Sarah have you speak to what we do when somebody decides to try this. But I also know that surprisingly, you had found yourself in the pre-diabetic range. And could you speak to that a little?
Okay, I will. So I ran with a group of women and they were following my progress with this cholesterol. And they said, well, you really need to have your LPA tested because, you know, we have our trail therapy. And this was, so I went and had this high level LPA test done to make sure that my cholesterol was in check. And as I did that testing, they called me and said, your LPA is great, but your A1C is 5.7, which was pre-diabetic. No one, like I had been going for my annual physicals. They had never tested. All of my glucose numbers had looked normal range. So all of a sudden, I was one of the 86 million Americans with prediabetes as a runner. You guys, I mean, that's the thing. I was running like miles and miles, 40 to 50 miles a week, carrying my 25-pound spare tire around with me. And now I don't have to carry that spare tire. And now,
Sarah, did you kind of chalk it up like we've all dealt with this, right? When our midsection just starts thickening and we're kind of like, well, pants aren't fitting the same. I guess you need to go up a size. I guess this is just part of aging. Like, were you just chalking it up to aging or what did you think was going on?
Do you know what? I was like, well, I guess this is menopause. I guess this, and this is what why I'm on Facebook talking or TikTok and is I want postmenopausal women to know that menopause does not equal spare tire, feeling bad, brain fog, skin tags, all of those things. And now my skin tags are gone. My brain fog is gone. Like all of these things I can't quantify in the lab are better. But then what I love is now my A1C is a normal range and still coming down. And that, I mean, this, I was really on the journey. I do a lot of zone 2, which people can message me separately, but I love zone 2 training. I run in that zone 2 heart rate. And I was using that as my metric for my longevity and my long-term health. But then once I came to the system, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to keep my zone 2. But I mean, these little natural products, the only side effects are that you feel better and you have control over food. And it's just been a complete game changer. And I want every woman in menopause. I'm 57. I feel younger and better than I did years ago. I mean, this is the way to roll back time and to make you just feel like I can keep up with my kids. I'm still skiing. I'm still, you know, doing these fun things with my adult children. I have a lot of friends that are my age that are like, oh, I don't ski anymore. It's like, well, okay, but, or, you know, mountain biking or whatever.
Huge. I mean, this is what I hope people are hearing. And if you're watching this live, you got tagged in this live, if somebody tagged you, or if you stumble upon it later on the replay, there is a reason that this got put in front of you. And in fact, if somebody's in your mind that you're thinking, you know, who really should see this is so-and-so, they've been struggling. I know please know that the people that you tag in this and the people that you share this with, this is going to give them a better quality of life. Like that's what we're offering. And this is not, it's not about the, you know, this quick fix. It's not, this isn't like another diet. This isn't like a phony thing. This is like an absolute lifestyle that you can manage and maintain long term, that's helping hundreds of people, and nobody really knows about this. And so really, like, Sarah, don't you feel like we're just the sharers of good news? Like
this is, I as I told Brittany, I was so uncomfortable. I really have never done social media. I just felt like this is, why would I do this? But I want to show one more picture that shows why I'm doing this. Okay. This is my triglyceride number. Okay. It started out, and for years I was stuck here at about 105. Or is that what it is? I think. Yeah. Oh no, 108. Okay. Stuck here. This blood work was done October of 23. I started the protocol in December. Look at the plummet there. That was my February blood test. Wow. And now my triglycerides are down, you know, 30 down. And look at my HDL. Now my HDL did see some improvement with all the running I was doing. So that's awesome, right? I was able to get 10-point improvement. This is the good cholesterol. Then I start the protocol and look how my HDL has gone up. And so that, just learning about blood work, and we talk so much about the overall number, but I want people to dive in. When you get that lipid panel, it matters whether it's triglyceride, whether it's HDL, you want certain numbers to move within that overall number. So I'm much less concerned now with the big number, and I'm much more worried about how triglycerides are the blood fat. Those are the stuff that are going to clog up my arteries. Those are down. My HDL, the good stuff that my brain needs, that's up. Hooray. You know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sarah, Claudette, thank you for sharing that. That's incredible to see those graphs. Claudette Oaks, she has a question. I think you'd be good at answering this, Sarah. She says, I have AFib, I hope, and I'm 79, but I have 40 pounds to lose. Could I use this?
Okay. So my cute mom is 88. She's using it. She loves it. So, and my mom's a nurse. And yeah, you can absolutely use it. And I just think start slow. Now, my darling mom, the first day she mixed up this mate, she chugged it down and she called me. She was like, oh my gosh, because you sip this slowly because it does have a little natural caffeine.
Yeah.
So the fiber, but here's the beauty with buying it like through people like us. I have a video, Brittany has a video where we teach you exactly how to use it. Yeah. But it is never too late to feel better. Like, I know you're 79 and you think, oh my gosh, I wish I had found this 20 years ago. I wish that everyone could know that they can feel better. And the other thing I want to say is that it is cheaper to be healthy than to be sick. And so, like, as with my colonoscopy, now I don't have to go back till 2029. Awesome. That's saving me time, saving me money. You know what a hassle colonoscopy, you're kind of out for a couple days, you lose. I don't have to stand in pharmacy lines for metformin and for statins. I don't, and the weight loss was a side effect for me, but thank goodness I didn't go hop on one of those expensive injectables and have all those side effects. So I love the question about the 79, because we think sometimes we just think, well, I'm in menopause and I'm older and this is just my life. But I really think 79, there is so much time for such good living. Why not start this right now? And just, I will shout it from a rooftop if I'm able, that people can feel better. And it's just, life is so much better when you feel good, your gut health is good, your mental health is good. One more non-scale victory, but I used to worry. I have 4 adult children who are amazing. They are amazing in every way, but I would sometimes lie at night and worry about them, like irrational worries about my children who are completely competent and doing, like, they're more than competent, right? They're amazing humans. But sometimes and I didn't realize, as my gut health improved, I stopped spinning my wheels worrying at night, because it's like, now I have the rational belief.
Anxiety. Literally, anxiety has decreased. Yeah,
yes,
that's what it is.
Brittany,
yeah.
That is exactly it. And I would never have said I was anxious before, but now I've just noticed I get in bed and I go to sleep and I don't have the spinning brain. That is like, that's very significant for me.
Yeah. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing all that you have. I think that you hit so many points of just common struggles that most of us just take as normal or part of age. And so please reach out to Sarah. She can help you. She has got the tools. She's got the support system. She's going to hold your hand through this. And for those of you that are listening that are, again, I know I'm kind of, maybe this is awkward to kind of encourage you to do this, and you think, well, I don't want to tag someone. I don't want them to think that I don't think they're healthy. You're offering someone a gift. They don't even know this exists. And it does get to the point where it almost feels unethical not to share it because of how fantastically it's working for people. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it has a 90-day money back guarantee. So if for whatever reason you're unsatisfied, you can just get your money back. But this is something that can truly give somebody their life back. So please share, please tag people and let them know about this. And Sarah, thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
You're so welcome. Thanks, Britt.
Okay, and I'm going to look here. I've got Melissa. I'm adding Melissa. I don't see Becky. Becky was going to come in today, but I don't see her on here. So I think we may have Melissa as our last guest, unless anybody sees Becky, tell me in the chat. But
I think she just came on.
Oh, good. Okay, maybe we'll have her. perfect. We'll have her after you. I don't see her now, but maybe she's going to come back in. Melissa, I'm so glad that you're here to talk today,
Hey.
and share a little bit about your experience. And I know there are people that follow you here on Facebook that maybe don't know some of the changes that have been happening in your household in the last little bit, because
Yeah.
it's not just you, right?
No.
But maybe you could also speak to what piqued your interest when you first heard about this for you personally, but then also for the people that are in your care, so to speak.
Yeah, so I found this through Jody Moore. And if you know Jody Moore, she's an amazing life
Yeah.
coach. And I've been following her for years, but she had this webinar called Make Peace with Food. And, you know, I'm a relatively healthy person. I was exercising before COVID. COVID hit and I kind of dialed back, but then was like, you know what? I want to live a long life. I'm going to go back to exercising. So I was exercising like 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week. And I felt like I was eating pretty clean and stuff, but I could not get the scale to budge. So that was my motivation. But it originally, the reason I was like, I have to try this is that my husband was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic about 2.5 years ago. So I found this in March of 2024. And I asked him, I said, if I order this, will you give it a try? Like, just give it a try for me. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And at the time, he was on injections and metformin. And when he would do his injections, he had flu-like symptoms for days. And which then meant like he didn't want to do anything. Like, it was really hard. And we have kids and I want to go do stuff, you know? So that was hard. And it's hard as a spouse to see your spouse not doing well.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah, and Jody, speaking of that, Jody Moore, she was pre-diabetic. And
yes.
she was able to reverse her pre-diabetes with this, which is probably what made you like,
Yeah.
oh, my husband, you know, like, I want to make peace with food here for me personally to drop a couple pounds, but my husband is diabetic, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's just funny how we're always like, you know what so-and-so should do. But of course,
Yes.
because it impacts your life.
It 100% does. And so that was my motivation more than anything, was like, I just need him on it. And I'll figure out my stuff later, but I just want him on it. I want him off of meds. I don't like this. I've always been like, after my last child was born, I got really into holistic stuff. And I feel like my body responded better to that. And I really like living that lifestyle. So I was like, I hate that you're on metformin. I hate that you're doing all these things. I want you off of it, because I also was doing my own studies and was like, short-term game, long-term destruction. Like, I just didn't want that for him. And he struggled with inflammation for like the past 17, 18 years that I've been with him. So that was hard. But he, as a husband, was like, he tried it for a couple days and then it was just like, eh. So, but we were on subscription and I thought, well, buddy, if you're not going to use it, I'm going to give it a go. And I found that like instantly, I was a person who was doing intermittent fasting, but I would snack, you know, between my lunch and my dinner. And especially nighttime snacking, I would binge sometimes, or it was like salty, sweet, never feeling satisfied. And I also would say like I was a sugar addict. Like, I could not walk past like Sour Patch Kids or something without having a handful. I just couldn't do it. And or I could say I could go through periods of not doing it, right? We can do periods of restriction, but then it was like, this is pointless. I don't want to do this. So I noticed right away that I had so much like freedom around food and just control, where I was like, it's there. I'm okay without it. So that was incredible. And then I started noticing my body composition was changing, and my energy and my inflammation went away so quickly. I would wake up every morning feeling just achy and awful. And I thought, I'm only 40. Like, what is it going to be like in 10 years? I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah.
And it was like, I guess we're just getting older. No, I wasn't just getting older, because now I wake out of bed and I feel completely normal. I like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Kind
of reverse ages you, right?
It does. It's so wild.
Yeah.
It's so wild. But yeah, I noticed puffiness, and yeah, it's seriously a game changer. And you know, clothes started fitting looser, and I was like, oh wow, like this is like working. And I loved being able to intermittent fast properly, and the drinks were good. And I was like, this is the most simple thing I've ever done. I've tried doing keto, I've tried macros, and I just don't have the headspace for it. Like, I applaud all the people out there who are like macro queens and kings, because I just am like, I just don't want to do that. I want to be able to just have it be adaptable to my lifestyle. And I have traveled with this. We've gone on cruises with this. My husband has been on numerous work trips to New York over the past few like months, and he takes it with him, and helps, give him energy and help him to eat, and, mitigates any bad eating he might do while he's touristing around.
Wait,
So
so your husband ended up getting on it. You got to get to that part. Last thing you said was he kind of fizzled out. So bring us up to speed.
okay, so then he started, I think he saw the benefits that I was experiencing, just energy, and I think he won't say this, but I bet he noticed that I was happier.
Yeah.
He won't admit it. Like, I would never, because he's just going to say I'm a good wife and there's nothing wrong with me. But
Yeah.
I think I was more patient with our kids. I was able to manage my stress better.
Yeah.
I had even considered going back on an antidepressant right before I started this, because I just felt like life is blah and woe is me, and it was just really bad. So my mood was improved. So I think he was like, okay, well, maybe she's on to something and I should just trust her, because she's usually pretty good about things. So he started back in September, and at that point his A1C, being on meds and injectables for like a year and a half, his A1C was still 13.8.
Wow.
Like, the doctors were like, can you even see? Like, are you blind in any of your eyes? Like, how are you like functioning? How do you not have neuropathy all over? Like, how are you standing here in front of us? And a little over 90 days, he's down to 5.9. Like,
More than cut it in half.
more than cut it in half.
Wow.
And he's talked about how his mood has improved, and he feels freedom around food, and his inflammation, he's like, mobility has been incredible. He's like, I love that I can walk up and down stairs and it's not an issue. I love that I can go for walks and all these things, that, as he's 41. He should be able to do all these things.
Totally.
We're still young,
But
young and old at the
but
same
it
time.
took him committing. It sounds like it took him just making the conscious decision, like, I'm just going to go all in on
Yeah.
this. And then he went all in. And now here he is, more than cut the A1C in half. Energy, mobility. I mean, just what those sugars at that level was doing to his joints, like literally, like you said, to his nerve damage. Like, people don't understand that this progresses quickly, and before you know it, it can progress quickly, right? And he was managing it with medication, so it's kind of shocking how unmanaged it was, right? But like, it progresses, and people end up with neuropathy. That is terrible. You can get gout, and gout flare-ups can lead to infections and then amputations for people.
Yeah. Well, and he struggled with gout, and we've also watched his father, who has neuropathy, I don't think he can feel anything in his feet, to be honest. He falls on a daily basis, was falling on a daily basis. And I think that was also kind of a wake-up call to my husband, that like, hey, if you don't get on track, you're going to be like your dad.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that was a fear of mine. Is like, I kind of not jokingly would tell friends, like, I'm probably going to be a widow by the time I'm 45, the way my husband's going, and being like, okay, we'll be crazy cat ladies together, because there's no way he's going to make it long enough. And again, lovingly, I would try and do things, but they have to want it. And he finally wanted it.
Yeah.
And he will preach all day long that it's not a miracle, it's not a magic thing, but consistency is key. He will preach that all day long. He's like, you have to commit and be consistent. And when you are, that's when the magic happens with all of this. And your body begins to do what it was meant to do.
Yeah.
So his
you.
testimonial is amazing.
It's amazing. And this is the truth, right? If you use this properly and consistently, you are going to have measurable results.
Yes.
Right? And what's the worst case scenario? you're unsatisfied and you get your money back, right?
Right.
You're out nothing. You're out nothing for trying this.
Absolutely.
So, okay, before I bring Becky in, Melissa, maybe you could just tell people, if they have somebody in their life who's struggling and they don't know how to approach this, they don't even know where to begin, to get them excited about something like this. What do you recommend that they do? How do you recommend that they start?
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think that what worked for my husband was me. I was the proof he needed.
Yeah.
And so if you have someone who you love and you are dying to get them on the system, start yourself and maybe do your blood work and everything first. I wish I had done my blood work because I bet it looks amazing now, even though I was a pretty healthy person to begin with. I would say get on it and just be the example because they will notice. They are going to notice a difference in so many aspects of your life. So be brave, do it first. There's like zero risk here.
Yeah.
Zero risk. And show that person you love them by just being a good example and starting first. Take control and they will follow.
I love that. I've heard this saying a couple of times. Sometimes when we make lifestyle shifts, it disrupts the comfort of those around us because they're kind of like, wait, you're not going to eat with me while we watch our late night shows, or like, you're changing. And so I heard it said though that you're not leaving them, you're leading them. You're leading them. And that's really what you did, Melissa. And honestly, it probably saved your husband's life.
I think about that all the time, that we're not struggling with gout anymore, that just so many years that we now are getting back because his stubborn self decided to do this.
Yes, but it was you first, it was you first. And so, wow, that's beautiful. We could put that parallel in a lot of areas in our life. But thank you so much for sharing it, and really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to send an invite to Becky now to have her come on.
Perfect.
And we're going to have to get your husband on one of these sometime.
His story is awesome.
Reach out to Melissa though if her story resonated with you, and she can put you into contact with her husband. Okay, Becky, what's up? Hi, look at your beautiful background.
We're at the cabin today.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Well, thanks for coming on here. I wanted, your story has some kind of unique things about it too, and I wanted you to share where you were at and what you found when you started this, and maybe just give people an idea too of because I think you and I are a lot alike in this way, where I wasn't like a science guru. I wasn't like a medical professional. I didn't even understand what exactly this was doing when I first kind of took a leap of faith to try it. But now I feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm learning and my mind's kind of exploding. And I think that we hear that a lot from just even the customers who decide to try this, is their mind almost explodes with all that they learn in the first little bit. So tell us where you were at before you started this, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so I've been pretty healthy. Like I want to say I was an athlete, not like a real one, but like I enjoyed running, biking, swimming. So most of my days were spent working out. And then I started I didn't know it at the time, but now I know I was going through menopause. And so everything was changing in my body and I didn't recognize it. A couple of years ago, I realized that I was more tired. It was hard to do things. And then I guess I just pushed my body too hard, because then everything was just, I couldn't do anything anymore. I had no energy at all. I had gained weight very quickly within a month, probably about 15 pounds. And I was like, what? I know how to maintain, I work out, I eat right. I don't understand what's going on, but nothing was working. And I was actually scared. I'm like, how big am I going to get? And then, but the worst part I think was just the energy and the brain fog and just all the symptoms of menopause, the hot flashes. So, after I got to doctors and I was put on, all of the hormones, progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, and kind of took some while. It took a couple of months, probably 6, to get to where I was feeling a lot better. but I did actually lose 5 pounds, and then I was just like, well, I guess I just have to love myself. This is where I'm at now. I guess my age, this is just how it is, right? This is just life now. And so I'm just gonna love myself and try to be happy. And then I came across the system and was like, well, yeah, I'll try it, you know. And I wish I would have kept track of the time period, but let me just say it was fast, because within a month I had lost my weight. I'd already signed up to sell it because I was telling my families. I was like, Mom, Dad, you have to get on this. They have, they're diabetic or pre-diabetic. I don't even, and then Sean's, my husband's parents, and I'm just reaching out to everyone I know. I'm like, you have to try this. This is crazy. I feel so good. I have energy again. I can do the things that I thought I was never going to be able to do again, And so yeah, it was
Wow.
fast. It
Yeah,
was
that's it's cool that you started feeling the effects so quickly. And I always say that like this doesn't take menopause away. This doesn't,
no.
you still have to go through that, but it softens the
Yeah.
blow. And
Yeah.
so many things that you think are just part of it, all of a sudden you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that didn't need to be part of it. That was actually some of the insulin resistance creeping in. And even if you're a super healthy person like Becky, when estrogen starts dipping, which it just does during menopause, insulin starts going up. It's the other side
Yeah.
of the teeter totter. So estrogen goes down, insulin goes up. And then maybe you take some hormones that bring estrogen up, but insulin is still high.
Right.
And so you have to figure out a way to bring insulin down and to become insulin sensitive. And that's essentially what you did. And probably because you were doing so many other things right, your body responded quickly, right?
Right.
But Becky, I know you've helped a lot of people with this. And I think that something that's really unique about you is you have the coaching background. You know how to help somebody with their mindset. You know how to help them overcome limiting beliefs. You know how to help them manage like if their image of themselves or whether it's their stress levels, you can really help them on such a deep level.
Yeah.
And then there's the biology part, like the actual physiology hormone part that no amount of coaching fixes,
Right.
you know? And so I love the way that you're weaving this into your business where you're able to kind of help people with the mental emotional stuff because
Yeah.
a lot of food stuff is around mental emotional
It
stuff,
is.
let's be real, right?
Totally. Right.
But even if you have that all managed, if you have insulin resistance, if you're struggling with, constant cravings and you have like hormonal imbalance, you have to address
You
that
have to.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Becky, maybe you can share with everybody like if they decide that they're going to try this, they're going to give it a chance. Maybe you could give them a little glimpse into like how we support our customers and like what we bring them into, like the groups we have and things like that. Just let them know like what they get when they join.
Okay. So it's a huge support. Like it's a community.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday we have science calls. And so we're teaching about all the different metabolic issues, just the whole spectrum. There's so many, but how each one of them is a cause of insulin resistance. And so once you get that figured out, there's the Facebook group that we have together, and you have fasting calendars, you have um, videos to talk about any problems that you have, whether it's learning how to fast or whether it's what fiber can do to you if you're not used to it, and how you get through it, how you keep going. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Yeah. And I think those weekly science calls, I mean, Becky and I are not medical professionals. We had Kathy on the call. We have other people on our team that are medical professionals, but we're not. But you can come to those science calls. They're free. You don't pay anything for any of this. And you can ask medical professionals your questions and you can get coaching from them live. And, it's just so that's something you can get right away. You don't even have to be a customer. If you want to come to the call that we have tonight, it's tonight. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern. Comment that you want the link to the science call in the comments of this, and we will send you the link and you can come listen in and learn from the medical professionals. But that's available every single week. And then this community that we have in Facebook, I just, I just don't know of a container like that where
No.
you have that level of support and answers to your questions, an archive of before and afters, thousands of people in there who are a little further along the journey than you are that can help support you. Or maybe you already have done some of this, and you're just going to try this system, add it to what you're already doing. You probably have some things you could teach us in this group.
Yeah.
So it's such a great thing to be a part of. And I wasn't really planning on going this direction with it, Becky, but you're just such an example of this, of being like a sharer, And so maybe you could just speak a little bit to your decision to be involved on like the business side of this and what that experience has been for you.
Okay, so at first I could not even believe that I reached out to you saying that I wanted to do it, because I'm just like, wait, what am I doing? I don't want to do this. But it was just like something in me, because I truly believe in it, and because it helped me so much. And then the people I'd already started sharing it with and helped them, I was just like, I cannot not share this with people. Like, there's so many people suffering.
Yeah.
And so I just took off with it. But I think even now I'm like, I didn't realize, I haven't talked about this yet, but the part when you're metabolically flexible, so I told you I was a very worked out a lot, and I had to take a lot of food with me because I was on like long distance running, and you need fuel, right? And so you have to eat I thought you had to eat to have that energy. And so this is a flip. Like, now that I'm metabolically flexible and I go and do my workouts on a fasted state, taking Mate, it's amazing, that kind of energy, steady, strong energy. I've gone 5 hours on a very long hike up in the Tetons, and I didn't eat. I was in a fasted state and I didn't need to eat. The energy was there. And it's just amazing to me to know that.
Yeah, what our bodies are capable of, right?
Yes.
And that they actually run better, because when you're out there exercising, if you're eating, then you're also having to ignite the digestive system.
Right.
So now some of your body's energy is getting pulled towards digestion instead of just solely focusing on giving you energy and fuel for your workout,
And it was
And so
actually-
now you're just fully focused on your
Yeah.
workout, all your energy.
And it was very upsetting to my stomach. I would constantly be like, it was affecting my gut. And so making it hard to do whatever I was doing, the running especially, just so.
That's freedom for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah, and Becky and I recently, we just went to a conference. It was for the business side of this. We went to a conference in Vegas with a group of women, 15 or 16 of us, and we stayed in a house together.
Oh.
And don't you just feel like it's the
It was
best, Becky?
the best.
Yeah.
Just those women, being with those women and creating those bonds. It makes the fun of the work even better. It just is just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just checking all the good feelings boxes in every category. It's like you're helping people with their health, you're also getting connection, and it just brings a lot of joy. So I'm so glad to be able to work with you, and I know you're going to help so many people. And reach out to Becky if you're listening to this. She can help you. She is on it. Like, she knows exactly how to help you, and she can even help you with your mental emotional health when it comes, I mean, really in every category. She's trained to cover every category, but she'll be able to help you work through the mental emotional side of the food stuff too. So thanks so much for being here,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks to all who participated today. If you're on the fence, if you've been considering trying this and you just, you haven't taken the plunge, maybe you've been a little skeptical, what do you have to lose? 90-day money back guarantee. Reach out to the person that tagged you in this, that you know from this live, or if you don't know anybody, please reach out to me directly and I will make sure you get that discount. Because again, if you just go online, you're going to pay $75 more direct from the manufacturer, or through Amazon, you're going to pay $75 more, and we're not going to know that you bought, so we're not going to be able to take care of you. So get the discount, come join us and be part of our community, and we just can't wait to get to know more of you. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much.